My name's Raul. What's yours?
Astral.
How do you say your name?
Astral.
Astral? Like
Yeah.
Astral?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that your real name?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a really cool name.
Thanks, man.
So I'm walking around campus and I'm asking people to identify some belief they hold to, and I want to interview you for a few minutes concerning how you arrived at that belief.
Okay.
So kind of like walking me through the process of how you came to adopt that whatever belief it is.
Okay.
So we start out by saying by asking you to identify that belief, whatever it is. It could be anything. Just some belief that you hold to sincerely. Could be religious, could be non-religious, could be supernatural, could be non-supernatural.
Okay. Probably say I have a lot of faith.
Faith.
Yeah.
Okay.
Religious faith.
Religious. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say you believe in God? Is that kind of what you have in mind?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do believe in God.
So maybe we can work with the statement God exists as kind of a belief for the focus of it. So we'll say God exists.
Okay.
So you believe that statement to be true. How on a scale of 0 to 100, how certain would you say you are that this belief is true, that God exists?
99%.
99%. Okay, good. Good. So that gives me an idea of where you're at. So can you tell me why 99%? Why are you so certain that this belief is true?
First, I think growing up in like a religious household, going to church every Sunday, reading the Bible, and probably true life experiences.
Okay.
Yeah.
So growing up,
Yeah.
so going to church on Sunday, you said reading the Bible, and did you say life experience?
Yeah.
Okay. Which of those would you put at the top of your list of why you're at 99%?
Life experiences.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why is that your number one reason?
Because you could always have a thought like I believe in God, but going through certain stuff, having an idea like fate exists, and believing in fate, and certain things happen to you, and you're like, okay, I believe now. It makes your faith stronger.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is it that life experience it serves as a good method of arriving at the belief that God exists?
I believe that I think it's a good method because you can hear a lot of people talk about God and talk about different religious stuff, and then after going through certain stuff, you get like a closer bond, I believe, to yourself and probably to your inner self, your soul, and then you could be like, okay, how could you explain this? You can't explain it, but it still happens,
Okay. Yeah. So you've had certain experiences that you feel like God is the best explanation for.
Yeah.
Okay. And why is that? Why is God the best explanation for?
Because there's nothing else that could explain it. Honestly.
Nothing else, even conceivably, could explain these things.
Yeah.
Like, can you give an example? Like, what do you mean?
Probably when I was younger, I went to a private school, and like for the whole semester, I had to pay fees because it's private. It's a private school, and coming down to the end of the semester, you can't do exams without paying school fees. And I think it was like the last 50 minutes of the window to pay school fees. I got all my school fees, so I offered to pay them.
So this was this high school?
Yeah, high school.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was like.
So somebody paid for it at the last minute.
Yeah.
Okay. And why do you think nothing can explain this apart from God?
Because honestly, I tried everything before that. Asked a lot of people, couldn't help. Prayed about it a lot. Eventually came through. So.
Okay. Is it possible that somebody knew your situation and was kind of like being a good Samaritan?
Yeah, that is true. That could be a part of it, but at the same time, as far-reaching as fate is, believe in fate. Like, okay, fate is going to work out. It's going to work out. Eventually, it works out. So, kind of ties into it. Okay.
And so, how would you distinguish between God being the reason for this event and it just being like some other reason, like a good Samaritan or something? How would you tell the difference? How would you put your claim to the test that it has to be God?
It's hard, but I think to explain it, I wouldn't go against both because it could be a good Samaritan. At the same time, it could be God.
So now you're saying there actually could be another reason. Okay. So it could be God, or it could be just a person or some non-God reason.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what makes you convinced that what makes you prefer the God explanation over the non-God explanation?
I think believing in God actually helps you have faith that anything is possible, and even in your lowest times, to believe in something helps you to push through.
Okay, so you believe that most likely the situation is God because it gives you hope.
Yeah, sense of hope. Yeah.
Okay. Is it possible that you can still get that feeling of hope and yet you'd be mistaken concerning this actually being God? In other words, let's say just theoretically, let's say it wasn't God. Let's say you knew. Let's say it was a person, just a good Samaritan who decided that they're going to help this guy out, a family member, a friend, whatever, a stranger. Is it still possible that you could have this feeling of hope and yet be wrong?
So I think that question goes back to depend on the person, because for me, it's always going to be it comes down to God. You know, if somebody else who doesn't believe in God probably wouldn't say no.
Okay, so how would you tell the difference? Let's say somebody had a similar experience, and let's say that they went to school, somebody paid their fees, and they said, I believe that this was aliens that did this. An alien, an ancient superior alien race is out there in space somewhere, and with their supersonic telescopes, they're looking down on my situation, and I think they orchestrated this. Like, how would you tell the difference?
Again, I think that goes on back to what you believe in. Like, if that person believes in aliens, well, they can say aliens. I believe in God, so I'll say it's God.
Okay, so how does this reflect upon the reliability of this method, right? If this is a method that one person can use to arrive at this conclusion and another person can use to arrive at a radically different conclusion, is the method itself very reliable as a way of arriving at a belief?
I'll say yeah, it is.
And why is that?
I mean, because let's say religion, for example. There's a lot of different religion groups. All right, everybody has their own beliefs, and some people may say that Muslims say it's Allah. People will say it's God, or some people say it's somebody else. But at the same time, everybody still has that faith about what they believe in. So I think it's a good method because it just gives you a sense of faith and hope.
Okay. Do you think this method is reliable to for arriving at an accurate understanding of the world?
Yeah, depends on how you look at it.
If that's the case, if it's so reliable, why is it that one person can arrive at this conclusion and another person can arrive at that conclusion, and they're diametrically opposed to one another?
Based again, all about perception and how you see it, how you view the world.
Okay.
And your beliefs, of course.
So you're saying this is a reliable method. This method of just trusting that it is something without evidence. You're saying that this method is reliable, even though it can lead to radically different conclusions?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say that, yeah.
Is that the definition of reliable? Like if I said, my car is reliable. Yeah. Right? And you come to find out that every other day it breaks down. Yeah. So some days you can trust it, some days you can't. You never is that the definition of reliable?
No, it's not.
Okay, so if you wouldn't call my car reliable when it does radically different things from day to day, how is it that this method of faith is reliable when it leads to radically different conclusions just based on the person who's using it?
Again, I understand what you're saying there, but I guess it's all about the approach. Because somebody who's atheist might be like, you believe in God, it doesn't make any sense to me. And I could be like, okay, but you're not believing in God, doesn't make any sense to me, Okay. Again, it's all about the angle and how much the perception. Okay.
Do you think there's a more reliable method we could use to distinguish between this belief and that belief, other than this incredibly unreliable method that can lead to anything? Is there a more reliable way, a better way to test what one person says against another person? Is there any way we can know, or is it just, hey, as long as you believe it, as long as you say it works for you, that's fine? Is there a better way?
If there is, I don't know. Honestly, I wouldn't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Astral.
No problem.
Yeah.
Man.
I appreciate the conversation,
No
man.
problem.